Crazy is when a patient walks into a doctor's office, gets a diagnosis, doctor writes out a prescription, and the patient cannot afford to fill that prescription, becomes sicker, ends up in the emergency room or the hospital, a greater expense to the system. My friends, that is called crazy. I'm tired of talking with people who are struggling with mental illness, but cannot afford the mental health counseling they desperately need.
2 more state governments, everybody, have approved a new one-time stimulus check for their residents. And checks worth up to $500 can be claimed by eligible residents. So you want to be sure to stay until the end of the video to find out if you're eligible for this fourth stimulus check. Now, many Missouri taxpayers could get a one-time refund of up to $500 per individual under a plan endorsed by state senators. This comes as a way to help offset inflation while whittling down a state surplus. The Senate proposal is similar to one passed previously by the House, but would apply to fewer people at a lower cost to the state. The plan still needs a final Senate vote to go to the House, and then on to Mike Parson, the governor. Individual taxpayers earning up to $150,000 annually and married couples with an AGI of up to $300,000 could get a one-time refund of up to $500 per individual and $1,000 per couple under the Senate plan. The refunds could be prorated to keep the total cost below a cap of $500 million. And the House plan contains a similar size refund but no income eligibility limits and a total of $1 billion before proration kicks in. Democrats who opposed the Republican-backed House plan had argued it was tilted toward the wealthy. Now, under either plan, people must pay taxes, everybody, to be eligible for this refund. In practice, people will receive a $1 refund for each $1 of tax owed, until their tax bill reaches the refund limit of $500. And the Senate Appropriations Committee Chairman Dan Hedgeman, a Republican who sponsored the plan, described it as a rebate of your hard-earned tax dollars. He said inflation was driving up the cost of living and cutting the people's earnings. The Senate Minority Leader John Rizzo, a Democrat, added the income eligibility limitation. He said it focused the tax relief on middle-income people who have been through the tough times in the last 2 years. Now, with the crisis, lawmakers are considering tax breaks as they are wrapping up to work on a record-large state budget, swelled by strong state tax collections and an influx of federal crisis aid. The two chambers face a May 13th deadline to agree on the legislation. Brian Kemp of Georgia has also signed into law a bill that will soon send payments to Georgians out of a state budget surplus of more than $2 billion. Of that surplus, $1.6 billion is being sent back directly to the pockets of Georgia residents who paid state income taxes for at least the last 2 years. According to the Department of Revenue's timeline, checks could be arriving right now or in a few weeks for eligible recipients. One thing to remember is that this is a one-time payment from the state of Georgia. It's not the same as your overall income tax refund. When that comes, will still be a matter of the federal government sending out refunds, same as every year. And Joe Manchin's new focus on putting together an ambitious bipartisan energy and climate package is being met with skepticism from Democrats, who view it as a stalling tactic. So Joe Manchin said that he is focused on getting an energy deal with Republicans and is taking priority over any attempt to negotiate a budget reconciliation package that could pass the Senate with 50 Democratic votes. Manchin told reporters this week that his focus is on crafting bipartisan energy legislation, which would center on proposals to incentivize green energy technologies and bolster the fossil fuel industry. Now, one Democratic senator has told The Hill, "We are running out of time. The calendar is staring us in the face, and I'm concerned that we have no time to waste on our conversations." So hopefully, everybody, Joe Manchin can work together with the Democrats and as well the Republicans to get more stimulus checks sent out to the people that need it the most. If you guys agree with me, tell me in the comments down below.
People, we do not have enough psychologists and counselors. We don't have enough doctors. We don't have enough nurses. We don't have enough dentists. We don't have enough medical care providers. We spend twice as much as any other major country. We don't even have the healthcare providers that we need to take care of our people. And also, I'm tired of seeing people in my own state and around this country who are walking around with teeth rotting in their mouths because they cannot afford the dental care that they need, because dental care is health care. And on it goes. But let's be clear about something. And this is maybe the most important point that I want to make. The current debate that we're having on health care and Medicare for all really has nothing to do with healthcare, because in my view, this dysfunctional healthcare system cannot be rationally defended. What this debate has everything to do with is the unquenchable greed of the healthcare industry and their desire to maintain a system which fails the average American, but which makes the industry huge profits year after year after year. While ordinary Americans struggle to pay for health care during this pandemic, and we'll talk about the impacts of the pandemic on health care, the 6 largest health insurance companies in America last year made over $60 billion in profit, led by United Health Group, which made $24 billion in the midst of the pandemic in 2021. But it's not just the profits of the insurance.
Yes, it is finally happening. Congress is passing a new stimulus bill very soon. Joe Manchin is now meeting with Republican lawmakers to gain their support on President Biden's spending bill. Now, many people will be receiving an $800 stimulus check very soon, so you want to continue watching this video to never miss out on the very important stimulus check information, and we have a ton of good news to cover. So the majority of people in Colorado are eligible to receive $400 to $800 stimulus checks from the state government due to the Taxpayer Bill of Rights passed in 1992. Most full-time residents have already taken in the necessary steps to get their check mailed to them this summer, filing their 2021 state income tax return. Any full-time resident who hasn't been filed can still claim and ensure they get a check by filling out a submitting form by May 31st. However, a lot of residents, including many veterans and seniors, do not regularly file state income tax returns, and they have questions regarding their eligibility. Folks, the answer is yes. You are still eligible to receive the $400 check for single filers and $800 for joint filers if you are a full-time resident. According to Colorado Governor Jared Polis, there are additional benefits to filing state and federal income tax returns, even if the taxpayer owes little to nothing. He said filing a return ensures that any excess withholding tax is refunded, and they may also be eligible for valuable refundable state and federal credits, like the Earned Income Credit and the Child Tax Credit. This is the same requirement for people in Colorado who claim and receive payments for the 6-tier flat sales tax refund mechanism that would normally refund the money at filing time next year. All eyes are on Joe Manchin as he moves forward with negotiations on President Biden's Build Back Better bill. Reporters have asked Senator Manchin and GOP senators about the claim in a new book that Manchin says he will be willing to switch to the Republican Party if Senate Republican John Thune were the Senate GOP leader instead of Mitch McConnell. Manchin told reporters today that Republican colleagues frequently ask him about switching parties and that he never seriously considered leaving the party. The banter between Manchin and his Republican colleagues is reinforcing doubts that he will not sign on any point this year to a partisan reconciliation package to enact major elements of Biden's domestic agenda, with 50 Democrat votes and no GOP votes. Democrats also have taken note that Manchin's opposition to various Democratic initiatives appears to be playing well back home. According to a report, Manchin's job approval rating in West Virginia has jumped by